The chamber is open and full of whispers.
The morning sun illuminates the crooked cobblestone street. Witches and wizards move between shops. Owls hoot from Elop's Owl Emporium. Cauldrons gleam in shop windows. Hagrid and Harry Potter walk toward the massive white marble building at the end of the alley. Harry stares upward at Gringotts Wizarding Bank. Bronze doors, goblin guards in scarlet and gold uniforms. "That's Gringotts," Hagrid says. "Safest place in the world for anything you want to keep safe. Sept maybe Hogwarts." They climb the white steps, pass through the bronze doors into the vast marble hall. Harry's eyes widen, goblins everywhere, sitting on high stools behind long counters, weighing coins on brass scales, examining precious stones through eyeglasses, writing in enormous ledgers. The hall is crowded, witches and wizards conducting business, gold changing hands, vault keys being issued. And in the exact center of the lobby, translucent material shot through with veins of silver and gold, ancient, dormant, humming with barely perceptible energy. The keystone of the hallows. Harry walks past it toward the nearest free counter, doesn't notice the way the crystal trembles slightly as he approaches. Across the lobby, different entrance. Dan and Emma Granger enter with their 11-year-old daughter. Hermione has bushy brown hair, large front teeth, and intelligent brown eyes that take in every detail of the magical bank. "I still can't believe this is real," Dan mutters. "A bank for wizards, underground vaults, goblins. We need to exchange pounds for, what did they call it? Galleons," Hermione supplies. She's clutching her Hogwarts letter. Gold galleons, the wizarding currency. But Hermione doesn't immediately follow her parents. She's drawn to the crystalline artifact in the center of the hall. Something about it calls to her. A pull she doesn't understand. She walks toward it, curious. The keystone begins to glow, faintly, silver gold light pulsing in the veins. Harry is at counter 12 with Hagrid. The goblin is preparing paperwork for vault access. Then the lobby explodes with light. Brilliant silver gold radiance erupts from the keystone, blinding. The crystal screams with magical energy. Ancient runes form in the air above it, glowing symbols that rotate and combine into words. Every sound in Gringotts stops. Every goblin freezes mid-motion. Every witch and wizard turns to stare. Harry spins around. The light is pouring from the artifact, and standing on the opposite side, a girl his age, bushy brown hair, wide eyes filled with shock and wonder. The golden light connects them, a beam of pure magical energy linking Harry to Hermione through the crystal. The runes overhead spell out words. Ancient script, Elder Futhark, but somehow readable to everyone in the hall. The balance of souls awakens. 2 lines converge. The Peverell legacy claims its heirs. The light intensifies. Harry feels something in his chest, a warmth, a recognition, like meeting someone he's known his entire life but never met. Hermione feels it too. Her magical core resonates with his. They're not just near each other, they're connected. The doors to the bank director's office slam open. A goblin emerges. Taller than the others, wearing robes of deep crimson with intricate gold embroidery. His face is lined with age, his eyes are sharp as cut diamonds. Ragnarok, director of Gringotts. He stares at the keystone, at Harry, at Hermione, at the golden light connecting them. Then he drops to one knee. Every goblin in the lobby does the same. Hundreds of them. Kneeling in perfect synchronization, the silence is absolute. Ragnarok speaks. His voice resonates with ancient authority that fills the marble hall. The keystone of the hallows has awakened. 700 years dormant, the Peverell bloodlines have converged. Hagrid's mouth falls open. That's not possible. The Peverells died out centuries ago. Incorrect. Ragnarok stands, approaches Harry and Hermione with measured steps, studies them with eyes that have witnessed centuries of wizarding history. The Peverell line never died. It scattered, fragmented, waited. He looks at Harry. "You. State your name." "Harry Potter." "Potter. Yes, we hold your vault, but your blood runs deeper than the Potter line." Ragnarok turns to Hermione. "And you, child, your name." "Hermione Granger." Her voice is steady despite her confusion. "Granger." Ragnarok's eyes narrow with recognition. "Tell me, has anyone in your family ever mentioned the name Dagworth?" "My parents asked Professor Slughorn about that when we bought my school supplies. He said there was a famous potioneer named Hector Dagworth Granger, but we don't know if we're related." "You are." Ragnok gestures sharply. Two goblins rush forward with an ancient leather-bound ledger. They open it on a nearby counter. Pages yellowed with age. The Dagworth family. Ancient bloodline. In the 16th century, a Dagworth married into a family that carried Peverell blood through the line of Antioch. The union created the Dagworth Granger name. Ragnok's finger traces down the page. 3 generations later, a daughter was born, a squib. No magical ability. She integrated into Muggle society. The name simplified over time. Dagworth Granger became simply Granger in the Muggle world. Are you saying our daughter is descended from this Peverell family, through a squib ancestor? Precisely. 16 generations removed. But the blood remains, and when ancient bloodline magic lies dormant for generations, it sometimes returns with extraordinary strength. Ragnok looks at Hermione. Your magical power, Miss Granger, is not despite your Muggle parentage. It is because the Peverell blood awakened in you after sleeping for 300 years. But what's this got to do with Harry? Ragnok turns to Harry. Harry Potter, the records show you are descended from Ignatus Peverell through your father's line. The Potter family inherited the Peverell bloodline. Directly. Who were the Peverells? Harry asks. The 3 brothers who created the Deathly Hallows. Antioch, Cadmus, and Ignotus Peverell. 13th century. The most powerful wizarding family of their age. Ragnok gestures to the glowing keystone. Before they died, the brothers created this artifact. A safeguard. It requires the convergence of at least 2 Peverell bloodlines to activate. Why 2? Hermione asks. Her mind is already racing through the implications. Because absolute power in one person corrupts absolutely. The brothers learned this truth through bitter experience. Antioch's pride destroyed him. Cadmus's grief drove him to madness. Only Ignotus, who accepted death with wisdom, lived a full life. Ragnok's expression is grave. The keystone enforces balance. 2 heirs, 2 perspectives. 2 souls working in concert. The light from the keystone pulses stronger. The runes swirl faster. What happens now? Harry asks. Now, Ragnok says, you claim your inheritance, or you walk away. But know this, the keystone has chosen you. It will not choose again for another 700 years. This is your only chance to claim the Peverell legacy. She meets his eyes, 2 11-year-olds who've never met before this moment. But the connection between them feels ancient, right, inevitable. What does the inheritance include? Hermione asks. Always practical, always gathering information before making decisions. Wealth, knowledge, power, legal authority. Ragnok counts on his fingers. The Peverell vaults contain gold accumulated over 7 centuries. The Peverell grimoire contains magical knowledge lost to the modern world. The Peverell Manor stands waiting in the Scottish Highlands, sealed and warded. And most importantly, recognition as lords of an ancient and noble house. You would hold a seat on the Wizengamot. You would be legally emancipated. You would answer to no guardian except yourselves. We're 11 years old, Harry says. How can we be legally independent? Ancient bloodlines operate under ancient laws. When you claim a lordship, you assume the responsibilities of that house. Age becomes irrelevant. You would be adults under wizarding law. Hagrid steps forward. Now wait just a minute. Dumbledore needs to know about this. Harry's got family, the Dursleys, and arrangements have been made. The Dursleys hate me, Harry says quietly. They lock me in a cupboard under the stairs. They barely feed me. If I can be free of them legally, I want that. Hagrid looks stricken. Harry, I didn't know. Of course you didn't. No one did. Harry turns back to Ragnok. If I claim this inheritance, I don't have to go back to Privet Drive. You would be Lord Peverell, head of an ancient house. You could declare any residence your home. The ministry could not force you anywhere against your will. Harry's decision crystallizes instantly. Freedom. Safety. A home that isn't a cupboard. I want to claim it. All eyes turn to Hermione. She looks at her parents. Mum, Dad, what do you think? We just found out you're a witch 2 months ago. Now you're descended from some ancient magical family? We don't understand any of this. But it's your choice, Emma adds. We trust you. We've always trusted your judgment, Hermione thinks. Processes. Analyzes. She's about to enter a world she knows nothing about. A world with prejudice against Muggleborns. She's read about that in her Hogwarts history books. A world where knowledge and power matter. If this inheritance gives her legal standing, magical knowledge, and the ability to protect herself, I want to claim it too. Ragnar's smile is sharp. Then follow me. Both of you. We descend to the Keystone Chamber. He snaps his fingers. Goblins rush to prepare. Hagrid tries one more protest. Shouldn't we at least send word to Dumbledore? Harry interrupts, not rudely, but firmly. Mr. Ragnar, does Headmaster Dumbledore have any legal claim to the Peverell inheritance? None whatsoever. The Peverells predated Hogwarts. This is a matter of bloodline, not schooling. Then this is our decision, not his. Harry looks at Hagrid. I appreciate everything you've done for me. Truly, but this is mine to choose. For the first time in his life, Harry Potter takes control of his own destiny. The cart journey, not the normal route to the Potter family vault. Deeper, much deeper. Ragnar drives the cart himself. Harry and Hermione sit together. Hagrid sits behind them, unusually quiet. The tracks plunge downward. The walls blur past, but Harry notices the stone is changing. The deeper they descend, the older the architecture becomes, and the walls are glowing. Faint golden light emanating from runes carved into the rock. The walls tell a story, Hermione says, leaning closer. Look, the runes form narrative sequences. Ragnar nods approvingly. Observant. The descent chronicles the Peverell history, the pact they made with the Goblin Nation in the year 1291. When Gringotts expanded to Britain, the Peverells offered us a gift, the Keystone, and asked us to guard something for them. What? Harry asks. Their legacy, their knowledge, their truth. Ragnar points to a section of wall. Read. Hermione squints at the runes. Elder Futhark. She shouldn't be able to read them. She's never studied ancient languages, but somehow the meaning flows into her mind. The three brothers foresaw that their deaths would scatter their bloodlines. They feared the hallows would be lost or misused, so they created a secondary inheritance, a legacy that required balance, two heirs working together, the sword and the staff, the heart and the mind. Harry feels something click in his understanding. I'm one half, you're the other. That is the legacy of Ignatus, the brother who mastered death by accepting it. He looks at Hermione. The mind of Peverell. Knowledge, precision, strategy. That is the legacy of Antioch and Cadmus, the brothers who sought to conquer death through power and love. The cart descends further. The temperature drops. The air feels thick with ancient magic. Finally, the cart stops. They're in a natural cavern, not a carved hallway, a cave deep beneath London. The walls are raw stone, but the stone glows with golden light. Leyline energy pulsing through the rock. At the far end of the cavern, a door. Not metal, not wood. Crystal. The same translucent material as the Keystone, but massive. 20 feet tall, covered in runes that pulse with silver-gold light. The vault of the three brothers, Ragnar announces. Sealed for 700 years. No goblin has entered since the Peverells placed their legacy within. No wizard has even seen this door. Until now. Harry and Hermione climb out of the cart. Hagrid follows but stops several feet back. He can feel the power radiating from the crystal door. It's not hostile, but it's overwhelming. Ragnar approaches the door, places his palm flat against the crystal surface, speaks in gobbledygook, words that sound like stone grinding on stone. The runes on the door blizz with light. Then the crystal begins to dissolve, not opening like a normal door, dissolving like morning mist in sunlight. Beyond, a chamber that exists in folded space, larger inside than the cavern should allow. The walls are not stone, they're pure crystallized magic. The floor is polished obsidian that reflects golden light from no visible source. In the exact center, a stone plinth carved with the symbol of the Deathly Hallows, circle, triangle, line. On the plinth, 2 rings of silver with red enamel inlay forming a triangular design, an ancient tome bound in leather that shifts between brown and gold. A crystal sphere containing swirling patterns of light. Harry and Hermione walk forward. Together, their footsteps echo in perfect synchronization. They reach the plinth. The tome opens on its own. Pages flutter rapidly, stop on a page written in archaic script. But as they watch, the words transform, become modern English, glowing with golden light. To our heirs, you stand at the threshold of a legacy we could not entrust to one person alone. You are the balance, the heart and the mind, the sword and the staff. The world above has forgotten the true nature of magic. Power without wisdom breeds tyrants. Knowledge without courage breeds cowards. We three brothers learn this through blood and loss. Antiochus died for his pride. Cadmus died for his grief. Ignotus alone found peace by accepting death. As a friend, place the rings upon your fingers. Speak the oath of Peverell. Accept the burden of lordship. Become what the world needs. Antioch, Cadmus, and Ignotus Peverell Anno Domini 1291. Harry looks at Hermione. Do we trust this? She studies the page. The plinth, the rings. The goblins have kept this sealed for 700 years. They have no reason to trick us. And she pauses. I can feel it, can't you? The rightness of this. Harry nods slowly. He does feel it. The connection to this place, to the magic, to Hermione herself. We do it together? Together. They each reach for a ring. The moment Harry's fingers touch the silver, he knows which is his. The left ring, the one that pulses with warmth. Engraved with the cloak symbol, the triangle representing the invisibility cloak. Ignotus's legacy. Hermione takes the right ring, cool to the touch, engraved with the Elder Wand symbol, the straight line, the legacy of power tempered by wisdom. They slide the rings onto their right hands, ring fingers. Ancient magical tradition, the chamber explodes with light. Silver gold energy powers from the rings, into their hands, up their arms. Through their entire bodies, Harry feels his magical core expand. Not growing, awakening. Like he's had a vast reservoir of power sleeping inside him his entire life and it's finally been unlocked. His scar, the lightning bolt on his forehead, burns for a moment, then cools. Changed somehow. Hermione gasps. Her mind floods with understanding, not memories. Pure comprehension, the structure of magic, the theory behind spells, the architecture of reality itself. Her hair rises, crackling with magical static. Her eyes glow golden for 3 heartbeats. The light subsides. They stand there, breathing hard. Forever changed. Harry looks at his hand. The ring sits perfectly. The red enamel forms the Deathly Hallows triangle. The silver band feels warm against his skin, part of him now. I can feel magic, he says quietly. Not just my own, everywhere. Like threads in the air, lines of power running through the earth beneath us. The knowledge is just there in her mind, natural magical energy flowing through the planet. Ancient wizards used to tap into them before wand magic became dominant. The Peverells were masters of this technique. We're connected now. I can feel your magic, your presence. Same. Harry concentrates. Yes, he can sense her. Not her thoughts, but her magical signature. It resonates with his like 2 notes in perfect harmony. Ragnarok approaches cautiously. He's watching them with something like reverence. How do you feel? Different, Harry says. Stronger, but also heavier. Like I'm carrying something now. You carry the legacy of the Peverell line, the power, the knowledge, the authority. He gestures to the tome, the grimoire of the 3 brothers. Everything they knew, everything they learned, everything they created. It is yours now. Hermione picks up the book carefully. It's heavy but not unwieldy. The cover feels alive under her fingers. She opens it to a random page. Diagrams of spell construction. Rune sequences she's never seen. Mathematical formulas describing magical energy flow. This is incredible, she breathes. The crystal, Ragnarok continues, pointing to the sphere, maps the ley line network across Britain. The natural magical currents that flow through the earth. You can tap into these lines now. Channel their power. Harry picks up the crystal. The moment he touches it, he sees. A map of Britain forms in his mind, golden lines crisscrossing the landscape like a vast nervous system. Major nexus points glowing brighter, Stonehenge, Glastonbury Tor, and Hogwarts. Hogwarts sits on a ley line nexus, Harry realizes. That's why it's so powerful. It's built on a convergence point. Correct. The founders chose the location specifically for that reason. Ragnarok bows deeply. The Goblin Nation recognizes the Lords Peverell. We await your commands. Lords? Hermione looks up sharply. We're 11. You bear the rings. You have spoken no oath yet, but the magic has accepted you. When you formally claim your lordship, you will be recognized as heads of the ancient and noble house of Peverell. Ragnarok's expression is completely serious. Under wizarding law, you will be legal adults, emancipated, The Ministry of Magic, the Wizengamot, even Hogwarts itself, all must acknowledge your authority. They're 11 years old, and they've just inherited sovereignty over an ancient house that predates most of Wizarding Britain's government. What's the oath? Harry asks. The one mentioned in the book. The pages flutter on their own, settling on a specific page. Words in English appear, the Oath of Peverell. I claim the blood of the three brothers. I accept the burden of their legacy. I swear to guard the threshold between life and death, to wield power with wisdom, to seek knowledge with courage. To honor the balance in all things. In magic, Indiana law, Indiana soul, I am Peverell. Speak these words with your hand on the keystone crystal, Ragnarok instructs. The magic will complete the bond. Harry places his hand on the crystal sphere. Hermione places her hand beside his. Together they speak the oath. Their voices harmonize perfectly. The chamber fills with light one final time. When it fades, the rings on their fingers shine with permanent enchantment. The bond is complete. They are Lords Peverell. Gringotts lobby. 2 hours later, word has spread through the bank. Every goblin knows. Some wizards have heard whispers. The lobby parts like water as Harry and Hermione emerge from the vault elevator. They're not wearing the same clothes they arrived in. Ragnarok provided formal robes from the Peverell Vault stores, white with gold trim, the deathly hallows symbol embroidered on the chest in silver thread. Every person in the lobby stares. Harry carries the grimoire under one arm. Hermione holds the crystal sphere carefully. Both wear the rings of Peverell openly. Dan and Emma Granger rush forward. They've been waiting for 2 hours, increasingly worried. Hermione, are you all right? What happened down there? Hermione looks at her parents. How does she explain this? Mum? Dad? I'm the heir of Peverell, descended from an ancient magical family through a squib ancestor named Dagworth Granger who lived 300 years ago. She shows them the ring. This is the seal of House Peverell. I've claimed my inheritance. Under wizarding law, I'm legally an adult now. Emma's hand goes to her mouth. You're 11 years old. I know. But magical law is different. Ancient houses operate under ancient rules. Hermione's voice is steady. I'm still your daughter, I still want you in my life. But in the wizarding world, I have responsibilities now. Legal standing, authority. Dan looks completely lost. I don't understand any of this. Ragnarok approaches. Mr. and Mrs. Granger, your daughter has claimed a birthright older than the British Ministry of Magic. She is now Lady Peverell. However, we can arrange a magical guardianship agreement. You retain parental authority in the Muggle world. She retains autonomy in the wizarding world. A compromise. Will she be safe, Emma asks, the mother's fear showing through. Safer than most witches in Britain, Ragnarok assures. She has Gringotts' protection, the resources of the Peverell vaults. And, he glances at Harry, a partner who shares her burden. Harry steps forward. Mr. and Mrs. Granger, I just met your daughter 2 hours ago, but we're connected now, by magic. By legacy, I'll protect her with everything I have. I swear it. The oath rings with magical weight. A promise sealed by the Peverell ring on his finger. Dan studies Harry, sees the seriousness in the 11-year-old's eyes, the weight he already carries. All right, Dan says finally. We trust you, sweetheart. Both of you. Still in shock, still trying to process what just happened. Harry, he says quietly, Dumbledore's expecting ye at your aunt and uncle's house. I'm not going back there, Harry says. Not angry, just final. I'm Lord Peverell now. I have my own home, the Peverell Manor. I'll live there. But the protections, Dumbledore said ye need to stay with your relatives. The blood wards, Hermione says. She's already absorbed the relevant magical theory from the grimoire. They require Harry to call his mother's blood relatives home once a year, but they don't specify how long he has to stay. A single night would satisfy the requirement. Harry nods. I'll visit the Dursleys once a year, for one night, to maintain the wards. But I won't live there. I can't. Hagrid looks torn. Dumbledore won't like this. Then Dumbledore and I will discuss it, Harry says. But the decision is made. He turns to Ragnarok. What do we need to do next? Formalize your legal status. Register with the ministry. Claim your Wizengamot seat. And, Ragnarok's smile is sharp, send official notification to Hogwarts that 2 lords of an ancient house will be attending as first-year students. Undoubtedly, but problems you now have the authority to handle. The Ministry of Magic, Department of Magical Law. Harry and Hermione stand before a desk clerk. They've presented their Peverell rings, shown the Gringotts documentation, requested formal registration as heads of house. The clerk is flustered. This is highly irregular. Your children. We are lords of an ancient and noble house, Hermione corrects. Bloodline inheritance supersedes age restrictions under the Wizengamot Charter of 1692, Article 7, Section 3. I read. Hermione doesn't mention that she read it in the Peverell Grimoire approximately 1 hour ago. The magical tome contains not just spells, but legal precedents. 700 years of accumulated knowledge. The clerk consults with supervisors, makes flu calls, finally returns with forms. Sign here and here and here. They sign. Official recognition, Lord Harry James Peverell. Lady Hermione Jean Peverell. The Wizengamot will be notified, the clerk says. Your house seat will be reactivated. You'll receive summons for the next session. September 15th, 2 weeks after Hogwarts term begins. Perfect timing. They leave the ministry as the sun sets over London, 2 11-year-olds who are now legal adults in the eyes of wizarding law. We need to write to Hogwarts, Hermione says. Inform them of our status. And we need to see the Manor, Harry adds. Our home. I like the sound of that. They return to Gringotts. Ragnarok arranges a portkey to Peverell Manor. The Grangers hug Hermione goodbye. She'll visit them before school starts. But tonight, she needs to see what she's inherited. Hagrid watches Harry leave, looking sad but resigned. Be careful, Harry. I will. Thank you, Hagrid, for everything. The portkey activates, a tug behind the navel. They land in the Scottish Highlands, before a manor that has waited 700 years for its heirs to come home. Chapter 2, The Emancipation, Peverell Manor. Scottish Highlands. Evening, the manor is built of grey stone, 3 stories tall, towers at each corner. Ivy covers the walls, not wild growth, but carefully maintained by preservation charms. The grounds are vast, forest surrounds the estate, mountains visible in the distance, isolated, private. Safe, Harry and Hermione stand before the main gates, wrought iron worked into the shape of the Deathly Hallows symbol. It's beautiful, Hermione whispers. Harry reaches out, touches the gate. The metal recognizes his ring, his blood, swings open silently. They walk up the gravel path to the main door. Heavy oak, 700 years old but perfectly preserved. The door opens as they approach, no key needed. The wards know them. Inside, a grand entrance hall, marble floors, tapestries on the walls showing the history of the Peverell family. Portraits of ancestors watching with interest. Welcome home, heirs of our blood, a portrait says. A man with Harry's build, Ignatus Peverell himself. Thank you, Harry says. We don't know what we're doing yet. None of us did at first, another portrait says. A woman with Hermione's intelligent eyes. You'll learn. The Manor will teach you. They explore, room after room. A library 3 stories tall, books on every subject, magical theory, spells, history, leyline magic, potions, creatures. Everything. A training room with practice dummies and ward stones. Bedrooms on the 2nd floor. Harry chooses one overlooking the mountains. Hermione takes one overlooking the forest. A dining hall. A kitchen that responds to verbal commands. House elf magic woven into the structure. And in the east tower, the grimoire room. The tome from the vault sits on a reading stand. But the walls are lined with additional books. 7 centuries of Peverell knowledge. Hermione runs her fingers along the spines. We could study here for years and not learn everything. We have until September 1, Harry says. 30 days. Then we start now. They spend the evening reading, learning. The grimoire teaches a technique called true intent magic, casting without wands or words, by focusing pure magical will. It's difficult, but not impossible. By midnight, Harry can produce a faint light from his palm, wandless lumos. Hermione manages it 5 minutes later. They're exhausted, exhilarated, changed. We should sleep, Harry says. Big day tomorrow. What's tomorrow? We write to Dumbledore, inform him of our situation. Hermione nods. That will be interesting. The next morning, Harry sits at a desk in the library, quill in hand, parchment before him. He writes, Dear Headmaster Dumbledore, I am writing to inform you of recent developments On August 6, 1991, I claimed my inheritance as Lord of the ancient and noble house of Peverell. Miss Hermione Granger has claimed the same title as co-heir. We have been legally emancipated and recognized by the Ministry of Magic. I will not be residing at number 4 Privet Drive. I have taken up residence at Peverell Manor in the Scottish Highlands. This is my legal home. I understand that blood wards protect my aunt's house. I am willing to visit once per year for a sufficient duration to maintain those protections. However, I will not live there permanently. Miss Granger and I will attend Hogwarts as first-year students beginning September 1st. We look forward to learning under your instruction. However, we must inform you that as lords of an ancient house, we operate under different legal authority than typical students. We hope this will not cause difficulties. Respectfully, Lord Harry James Peverell, Lady Hermione Jean Peverell. He reads it over. Hermione reviews it. It's polite but firm, she says. It establishes our autonomy without being confrontational. Do you think he'll accept it? We haven't broken any laws. We're exercising our legal rights. Harry seals the letter with the Peverell seal. Melted wax pressed with his ring. The Deathly Hallows symbol imprints perfectly. They send it via the Manor's owl, a magnificent eagle owl that's been waiting in the owlery for 700 years. Now we wait for the response, Harry says. And we train, Hermione adds. We have 30 days before Hogwarts. We need to master as much as we can. August 7th, 1991, Peverell Manor, morning. Dumbledore's response arrives at breakfast. Harry and Hermione sit in the dining hall. The table is smaller than the grand one meant for formal occasions. Just a simple table for two. House elf magic has provided breakfast, toast, eggs, orange juice. The eagle owl swoops through the open window, lands on the table, extends its leg. Harry takes the letter, breaks the Hogwarts seal. Dear Harry and Miss Granger, I must confess surprise at your recent actions. The Peverell inheritance is something I believed lost to time. That you have successfully claimed it speaks to remarkable magical heritage. However, I must express concern. You are both 11 years old. The responsibilities of lordship are considerable. I worry that you may have accepted burdens you do not yet understand. Regarding your residence, Harry, the blood wards at Privet Drive are powerful protections. Your mother's sacrifice created magic that shields you from Voldemort's followers. I strongly urge you to reconsider. That said, I recognize that as Lord Peverell, the choice is legally yours. I will not force you, but please understand the risks. I look forward to welcoming you both to Hogwarts. Perhaps we might discuss these matters further when term begins. With concern and respect, Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts. Harry reads it aloud. Hermione listens carefully. He's worried, she observes, but he's not fighting us. He's accepting the situation. He mentions Voldemort, Harry says quietly, says his followers might come after me. But we're learning to defend ourselves. That's more than I could do at the Dursleys. Hermione nods. We should write back, acknowledge his concerns, show we're taking this seriously. Harry composes a response. Dear Headmaster Dumbledore, thank you for your concern. We understand the responsibilities we've accepted. We do not take them lightly. Regarding the blood wards, I will visit my aunt's home once per year to maintain the protections as required. But I cannot live there. The environment is unsuitable. We are using this time before term to study the Peverell Grimoire contains extensive magical knowledge. We are learning as much as we can to prepare ourselves for the challenges ahead. We value your guidance and look forward to your instruction at Hogwarts. Respectfully, Lord Harry James Peverell, Lady Hermione Jean Peverell. They send the letter. Now, Hermione says, standing, we train. The Grimoire Room, Day 1. The grimoire of the three brothers sits open on the reading stand. Hermione and Harry stand before it. The book has organized itself. The pages now show a structured curriculum, week by week, lesson by lesson. Week 1, magical awareness. Before one can wield magic without wands or words, one must first feel magic as a tangible force, not abstract, not theoretical. Tangible. Exercise 1, meditation and core recognition. The instructions are detailed. Sit in silence, close eyes, turn awareness inward. Feel the magical core, the source of power within every wizard and witch. They practice. Harry sits cross-legged on the floor, closes his eyes, breathes deeply. At first, nothing, just darkness, his own thoughts. Then, slowly, he feels something, a warmth in his chest, not physical, Magical, a pool of energy, his core. It pulses with each breath, responds to his attention. Hermione finds hers faster. Her analytical mind maps it precisely. A sphere of light behind her sternum, golden white, humming with potential. I can feel it, she says softly. It's like a second heartbeat, but made of magic instead of blood. Same, Harry confirms. It's warm, alive. They practice for hours, learning to sense their cores, control them, direct the energy through their bodies. By evening, Harry can push magic into his hands. They glow faintly. Hermione manages the same. Then she experiments, pushing magic into her eyes. Her vision sharpens. She can see the individual threads in the carpet across the room. Magical enhancement, she realizes. Channeling power to specific body parts to augment their function? Is that in the grimoire? Not yet. But the principles are there. I'm extrapolating. Harry grins. You're brilliant, you know that. Week 1 continues. Day 3, they can consistently feel their cores, move magic through their bodies, enhance their senses, their strength, their speed. Day 5, the grimoire teaches them to sense external magic. The wards protecting the manor, the enchanted portraits, the ley line running beneath the estate. Harry walks outside, places his hand on the ground, closes his eyes. There, deep below, a river of golden energy. The ley line, vast, ancient, powerful. He tries to touch it, connect to it. The magic surges. Too much, too fast. He gasps and pulls back. Careful, Hermione warns. She's researching ley lines in a supplementary book. The grimoire says ley line channeling requires practice. If you draw too much, too fast, you'll burn out your core. Noted. Day 7. They've completed week 1. Both can sense their cores, move magic through their bodies, and detect external magical sources. The grimoire turns its own pages. Week 2. Wandless Lumos. The Lumos charm is simple. First-year spell, but performing it without a wand requires perfect focus and intent. A wand is a focus, a conduit. It shapes magic for you. Without a wand. You are the focus. You are the conduit. Your will must be absolute. Your intent must be clear. The instructions are precise. Visualize light, not metaphorical light. Real physical light. See it in your mind, feel it in your core, will it into existence. Harry tries. Holds out his hand. Focuses. Light. I need light. Create light. His palm flickers. A spark. Gone instantly. He tries again, and again, and again. By the third day of week 2, he produces a sustained glow. Faint, weak, but real. Wandless Lumos. Hermione achieves it on day 4. Her light is steadier, more controlled. She's visualizing the magical theory, photon generation through controlled energy release. By day 7, both can produce bright, steady light from their palms, equivalent to a wand-cast Lumos. Harry experiments, tries to produce light from his fingertips instead of his palm, succeeds. 5 points of light, like a hand-shaped chandelier. Hermione tries producing light from her eyes, creates a soft glow that illuminates a book without blinding herself. They're not just following the grimoire, they're innovating. Week 3, Protective Magic. The grimoire teaches shield charms, but wandless shield charms are exponentially more difficult than wandless Lumos. A shield must respond instantly to danger. It must form between you and harm in a fraction of a second. Your intent must be reflexive, instinctive. They practice in the training room. The chamber has animated practice dummies that throw harmless stinging hexes. Harry stands in the center. A dummy fires. Red light streaks toward him. He focuses, wills a barrier into existence. Nothing happens. The hex hits him, stings like a slap. He tries again and again. Day 3, he produces a flicker of translucent energy. The hex passes through but loses some power. Stings less. Day 5, a proper shield, shimmering blue energy. The hex bounces off. Day 7, Harry can shield reflexively. The dummy fires 3 hexes in rapid succession. 3 shields appear. Perfect timing. Hermione's approach is different. She studies the mathematical structure of shield charms, models them as geometric force fields, calculates the optimal shape for deflecting different types of magic. Her shields are weaker than Harry's initially, but they're more efficient. She can maintain them longer with less energy. By the end of week 3, both can produce wandless shield charms reliably. We're learning faster than the grimoire expected, Hermione observes. Look, week 4 is supposed to be basic transfiguration, but we've already experimented with it. She's right. Harry has been practicing small transfigurations, changing the color of objects, altering their texture. The grimoire is teaching us techniques, Harry says, but we're both applying them in our own ways. I'm using instinct. You're using theory. We're covering more ground together than either of us could alone. The balance of souls, Hermione says softly. That's what the Keystone called us. We balance each other. Week 4. Integration. The grimoire's final week focuses on combining wandless magic with wand-based casting. Wandless magic is easier but limited by the wand's properties. A true master uses both. Channel your core magic through your wand, enhance spells beyond their normal limits, or cast wandlessly when a wand is unavailable. They purchase wands from a specialty shop in Hogsmeade. The shop owner, an old wizard named Ollivander's cousin, provides them with several options. Harry's wand, Holly and Phoenix Feather, 11 inches, supple. The moment he holds it, he feels the connection. The wand resonates with his core. Hermione's wand, Vinewood and Dragon Heartstring, 10 3/4 inches, unyielding. Hers practically vibrates with magical potential when she grips it. They practice blending wand and wandless magic. Harry casts Lumos with his wand, then channels extra power through his core. The light explodes, bright enough to illuminate the entire training room like midday sun. Hermione casts Wingardium Leviosa, then adds wandless levitation magic on top. She lifts a practice dummy 20 feet in the air and spins it at high speed. By the end of week 4, they're casting spells far beyond first-year level. Harry successfully casts a Patronus, a formless shield of silver light, not a corporeal animal yet, that requires memories of pure happiness, which Harry has few of. But the shield form is still remarkable for an 11-year-old. Hermione masters the summoning charm, Accio. She can call objects from across the room with perfect accuracy. They practice dueling each other, Harry's instinctive shields against Hermione's calculated hexes, both wandless and wand-based magic flowing seamlessly. Neither truly wins. They're too evenly matched. Harry has power and instinct. Hermione has precision and strategy, the balance. August 31st, 1991. Final day before Hogwarts. They stand in the training room, exhausted, exhilarated, changed. We've learned more in 30 days than most students learn in a year, Hermione says. The grimoire's techniques are incredible, true intent magic. It's like learning to speak directly to magic instead of asking politely through a wand. We're still learning. We'll keep practicing at Hogwarts. Carefully, Harry adds. We can't show everything we can do. Not immediately. People will ask questions. Agreed. We attend classes. Learn normally. Use wands like everyone else. Save the wandless casting for emergencies. They pack their trunks. The grimoire goes with them, shrunk and hidden. The Manor will wait for their return during holidays. That night, Harry stands in his bedroom window, looking out over the Highlands. A month ago, he was sleeping in a cupboard under the stairs. Now he's Lord Peverell, living in a manor, trained in advanced magic, preparing to enter Hogwarts not as a helpless child, but as someone with knowledge, power, and purpose. His scar tingles slightly, a reminder that Voldemort is still out there, somewhere. But Harry isn't afraid. He has Hermione. He has the Peverell legacy. He has 30 days of intense training. He's ready. September 1st, 1991. King's Cross Station. Platform 9 3/4. Harry and Hermione arrive together. They've traveled from Peverell Manor via Portkey to London, then taken a Muggle taxi to King's Cross. Dan and Emma Granger came to see Hermione off. They hug their daughter tightly. Be safe, Emma whispers. Write to us every week, Hermione promises. I love you both. We're so proud of you, sweetheart. Harry watches the family moment. Feels a pang of longing. He has no one to see him off. Hagrid is at Hogwarts already. The Dursleys didn't even know he was leaving. Hermione notices, reaches out, and squeezes his hand. You have me, she says softly. I know. Thank you. They board the Hogwarts Express. Find an empty compartment near the rear of the train. They're wearing their school robes. Black, like everyone else, but their trunks bear the Peverell crest, and the rings on their fingers mark them as different. The train begins to move. Platform 9 3/4 slides away behind them. Compartment. Mid-journey, Harry and Hermione have spread books across the seats, studying. The grimoire is open between them. They're reviewing defensive spells. A knock on the door. A boy with red hair and freckles slides it open. Mind if I sit? Everywhere else is full. Harry recognizes him from the platform. Weasley family, large, poor, but happy. Go ahead, Harry says. The boy enters, sits, sticks out his hand. Ron Weasley. Harry Potter. Harry shakes his hand. Ron's eyes widen. Blimey. Really? The Harry Potter? Just Harry. Ron's gaze shifts to Hermione. Sees the books. The grimoire with its ancient binding. The ring on her finger matching Harry's. You're the other one, Ron says. The Peverell heirs. My dad told us about it. Said 2 kids claimed an ancient house. Caused a stir at the ministry. That's us, Hermione Granger. Pleased to meet you. Ron looks at the grimoire. What are you studying? Term hasn't even started yet. Advanced defensive magic, Harry says. We're preparing for what? Makes sense, I suppose. My dad says there's talk that you-know-who might not be really gone. That he could come back. Harry's scar tingles. Voldemort. You can say it. Fear of a name increases fear of the thing itself, Hermione quotes. We refuse to be afraid. Ron looks between them, sees the seriousness, the maturity beyond their years. You two are different from other first years, we know, Harry says. Not arrogantly, just honestly. They talk for a while. Ron is easy to like, genuine, humble despite coming from a long wizarding line. He talks about his family, 6 siblings, all magical except him so far. Constant hand-me-downs. Feeling overlooked. Harry sympathizes. He knows what it's like to feel insignificant. But Ron also makes them laugh, tells stories about his twin brothers Fred and George, pranksters who turned their mother's hair orange once. It's nice, normal. For a few hours, they're just kids on a train. Then the food trolley arrives. Ron pulls out homemade sandwiches. Harry and Hermione buy pumpkin pasties and chocolate frogs. They share. Ron teaches them about wizard trading cards. Harry gets Dumbledore. Hermione gets Morgana. The journey continues. Late afternoon, the castle appears in the distance. Hogwarts, vast, ancient, built on a mountain overlooking a black lake. Harry feels it immediately. The ley line beneath the castle. Massive, pulsing with power. Do you feel that? He asks Hermione quietly. The Nexus. Yes. It's enormous. No wonder the castle is so powerful. The train slows, stops at Hogsmeade Station, students pour out, first years are directed to boats by Hagrid. Furs years over here. Harry and Hermione approach. Hagrid sees them. His face lights up. Harry, Hermione. Good to see you too, Hagrid. 4 to a boat. Come on now. Harry, Hermione, Ron, and another boy. Neville Longbottom, nervous and round-faced. Climb into a boat together. The boats glide across the black lake. Hogwarts grows larger, more magnificent. They pass under a cliff, through an opening, into an underground harbor. The castle awaits. Entrance hall. Professor McGonagall stands before the assembled first years. Tall, stern, wearing emerald robes and a pointed hat. Welcome to Hogwarts, she begins. The start of term banquet will begin shortly. But before you take your seats in the Great Hall, you will be sorted into your houses. She explains the 4 houses. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, house points, Quidditch, Unity. Harry and Hermione exchange glances. They've discussed this, the sorting, what it means for them. McGonagall finishes her speech. We will call you in a moment. Please wait here. She exits into the Great Hall. The first years wait. Nervous chatter. Ron looks anxious. Neville looks terrified. Harry feels calm, centered. Months ago, this would have terrified him. But now, he's faced ancient magic, claimed a legacy. Trained in advanced spells, a sorting hat seems almost quaint. The doors open. McGonagall beckons them forward. The Great Hall, magnificent. 4 long tables filled with students, floating candles, enchanted ceiling showing the night sky. At the front, the staff table, Dumbledore in the center, other professors on either side, and before the staff table, a stool. On the stool, an ancient patched wizard's hat, the sorting hat. McGonagall stands beside it, holds a scroll. When I call your name, you will sit on the stool and place the hat on your head. She begins. Abbot Hannah. The Hufflepuff table cheers. More names, more sortings. Granger, Hermione. Hermione walks forward. calm, composed. She's wearing her school robes, but the Peverell ring is visible on her finger. The entire hall can see it. Whispers ripple through the tables. Everyone knows what it means. Hermione sits on the stool. McGonagall places the hat on her head. Silence. The hat speaks, not into Hermione's mind, out loud for everyone to hear. Well, 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 what have we here? Pause. Ancient magic, Peverell bloodline, a mind sharper than Ravenclaw's blade. Another pause, longer. But I cannot sort you. Gasps throughout the hall. The hat continues. You bear the mark of a power older than the Founders. The Peverells walked these halls before Hogwarts was stone. They were teachers to Godric, Helga, Rowena, and Salazar. I am a creation of the Founders. I cannot place their predecessors into houses they created. McGonagall looks shocked. The hat has never refused to sort anyone. I do not refuse. I recognize limitation. This child belongs to no house because she predates the division. Dumbledore stands. His face is carefully neutral, but his eyes are sharp. Miss Granger, perhaps we could... Headmaster, with respect, I am Lady Peverell. I claim no house allegiance because the Peverell line is older than the house system. I will attend Hogwarts as a student. I will learn from your professors. But I cannot be sorted into a division created by wizards who learned from my ancestors. The hall erupts in whispers. Shocked voices. Confusion. Dumbledore's eyes twinkle slightly. An unprecedented situation. Professor McGonagall, your thoughts. Traditionally reserved for guests and staff overflow. Perhaps Lady Peverell could sit there. Thank you. She removes the hat, walks to the side table near the staff, sits alone. The entire hall watches. McGonagall clears her throat, returns to the scroll. More names are called, more students sorted. Then, Potter Harry, the hall goes silent. Harry Potter, the boy who lived. And now, Lord Peverell. Harry walks forward. He sits on the stool. McGonagall places the hat on his head. The hat speaks immediately, out loud. Ah, the second Peverell heir, the boy who survived, how interesting. Pause. Courage in abundance, loyal to those you claim as yours, cunning when needed, and a mind that thinks in patterns even Ravenclaw would admire. But like your partner, I cannot sort you. The magic you carry is older than the Founders' division. You are not mine to place. McGonagall starts to speak, but Harry interrupts gently. Professor, I understand. May I join Lady Peverell at the side table? Yes, that seems appropriate. Harry removes the hat, walks to the side table, sits beside Hermione. 2 11-year-olds, sitting apart from the 4 houses, outside the system entirely. The hall is in chaos. Students shouting questions, professors looking uncertain. Dumbledore stands, raises his hands, silence falls immediately. Students of Hogwarts. We have witnessed something unprecedented tonight. 2 heirs of the ancient and noble house of Peverell have joined us. The Peverells were among the greatest wizards of the medieval period. They created artifacts of immense power. They taught magic to the very founders of this school. It is fitting that their heirs would stand somewhat apart. He addresses Harry and Hermione directly. You will attend classes with your fellow first years. You will learn from our professors. You will have access to all the resources Hogwarts provides. But you are not bound by house allegiance. You answer to yourselves and to the legacy you carry. He turns back to the hall. I expect all students to treat Lords Peverell with the respect due to their station, and I expect Lords Peverell to treat their fellow students with equal respect. We are all here to learn, to grow, to prepare for the challenges ahead. Pause. Now, let the feast begin. Food appears on the tables. Magnificent. Roasted chicken, potatoes, vegetables, pies, puddings. But many students are too distracted to eat. They keep staring at Harry and Hermione. At the side table, Harry and Hermione fill their plates quietly. Well, Hermione says softly, that was dramatic. We knew it would be. True. But still, they eat. The food is excellent. The atmosphere is charged. After the feast, students are dismissed to their dormitories. House prefects lead first years to their common rooms. Professor McGonagall approaches Harry and Hermione. Lord Potter, Lady Peverell, please follow me. We've prepared accommodations for you. Up staircases, down corridors to a part of the castle they've never seen. A door appears in a previously blank wall. Carved oak. The Peverell crest, a triangle within a circle. etched into the wood. These quarters have been sealed since the founder's time, McGonagall explains. The castle maintains them. They were meant for visiting dignitaries. Now they're yours. She provides them with a password, they can change it at will, and shows them inside. The quarters are beautiful. A common room with comfortable chairs, a fireplace, bookshelves, 2 separate bedrooms, a shared study area, windows overlooking the grounds. The house elves will bring your trunks shortly, McGonagall says. Classes begin tomorrow at 9. Your schedules will be delivered at breakfast. She pauses at the door. Lord Potter, Lady Peverell, I hope you understand the position you've put Hogwarts in. This has never happened before. We understand, Professor, Harry says. We didn't choose this to cause trouble. We claimed our birthright. But we'll do our best to be model students. See that you are. McGonagall's expression softens slightly. Welcome to Hogwarts. Their private quarters. In a castle filled with 1,000 students, they have a space that's theirs alone. We've done it, Hermione says. We're here. We've established our independence. Now comes the hard part, Harry says, living up to it. Chapter 5. Reclaiming the Cloak, September 15th, 1991. 2 weeks into term, the first 2 weeks at Hogwarts have been strange but manageable. Harry and Hermione attend classes with the other first years. Transfiguration with Professor McGonagall, Charms with Professor Flitwick, Potions with Professor Snape in the dungeons, History of Magic with Professor Binns, A Ghost Who Drones Endlessly, Herbology with Professor Sprout, Defense Against the Dark Arts with Professor Quirrell. They use wands like everyone else. They take notes, they complete assignments. But they deliberately hold back. When McGonagall assigns them to transfigure matches into needles, they succeed on the second attempt instead of the first. When Flitwick teaches Wingardium Leviosa, they wait until the third day to master it, even though they could do it wandlessly. They're good students, top of the class, but not suspiciously good. Other students keep their distance, some in awe, some in resentment, some in confusion. Ron Weasley sits with them sometimes at meals. He treats them normally, which they appreciate. Neville Longbottom is friendly but nervous. Draco Malfoy sneers from the Slytherin table but hasn't directly confronted them yet. And Dumbledore watches, always watches. His twinkling eyes follow them in the Great Hall. He asks pointed questions in their occasional meetings, but he hasn't interfered yet. Today is different. Today, Harry and Hermione have decided to act. They request a meeting with Dumbledore. McGonagall arranges it for after dinner. Headmaster's office, evening. The office is circular, filled with delicate silver instruments. Portraits of former headmasters line the walls. A magnificent phoenix. Fawkes perches near Dumbledore's desk. Dumbledore sits behind his desk, wearing robes of deep purple, half-moon spectacles perched on his crooked nose. Lord Potter, Lady Peverell, please, sit. Lemon drop? Dumbledore offers a tin of Muggle candy. No thank you, Hermione says politely. How are you finding Hogwarts so far? The castle is magnificent, Harry says. The classes are challenging, the professors are excellent. I'm pleased to hear it. Professor McGonagall speaks highly of your transfiguration work. Professor Flitwick is equally impressed with your charms. We've been studying diligently, indeed. I imagine the Peverell Library contains considerable knowledge. A test seeing what they'll reveal. It does, Hermione confirms. Though we're finding that practical instruction from experienced professors is invaluable. Theory and practice are different things. Very true indeed. Dumbledore leans back. What can I do for you this evening? Harry exchanges a glance with Hermione. They've rehearsed this. Headmaster, Harry begins, I'm aware that you hold an artifact that belonged to my father, an invisibility cloak. It was entrusted to you after my parents' death. Dumbledore's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his eyes. Ah, yes. The cloak. I was planning to return it to you at Christmas, Harry. It seemed an appropriate gift. With respect, Headmaster, Hermione interjects, the cloak isn't yours to gift. It's Harry's property. It belonged to his father and his father before him. It's a family heirloom of the Peverell line. I was holding it for safekeeping. Without Harry's knowledge or permission, Hermione continues. Under wizarding property law, that constitutes unlawful detention of a lord's family heirloom. You've been studying property law, Lady Peverell. The Peverell Grimoire contains extensive legal precedents. 7 centuries of accumulated knowledge. She meets his gaze steadily. We know our rights, Headmaster, and we know when they've been violated. I meant no violation. I kept the cloak safe. And we appreciate that, Harry says, keeping his tone respectful but firm. Truly. But I am Lord Peverell now. I am the legal owner of all Peverell family artifacts, and I formally request the immediate return of my father's invisibility cloak. Silence. Dumbledore studies them. Two 11-year-olds who speak like adults, who understand law and leverage, who won't be deflected or delayed. He's trapped. If he refuses, they can report the theft to the Wizengamot. Their claim is legally sound. If he admits he was studying the cloak, searching for the Deathly Hallows, it reveals his personal agenda. Very well, Dumbledore says finally. He stands, walks to a cabinet behind his desk, opens it, removes a shimmering silver cloth. The invisibility cloak. He places it on the desk between them. Your father's cloak, Harry. I return it to you, as is your right. It's impossibly light, impossibly smooth. Thank you, Headmaster. Dumbledore sits back down. May I ask what you intend to do with it? Keep it safe. Study it. Honor my father's memory. Harry folds the cloak carefully. Why? Is there a reason I shouldn't have it? Only that it's a powerful artifact, capable of concealing the wearer from nearly any detection. In the wrong hands, it could be used for mischief, or worse. Are my hands the wrong hands? I didn't say that. Then I'll be careful with it, as his father was before him. Hermione speaks. Headmaster, if there are any other Peverell artifacts in your possession, perhaps something you acquired last summer, a certain ring, possibly, we would appreciate being informed. The ring, the resurrection stone, the Horcrux he destroyed. They know about it. How did you... The Peverell grimoire contains genealogies, Hermione says. We know that Cadmus Peverell's line continued through the Gaunt family. We know that Marvolo Gaunt possessed a ring with the Peverell crest, and we know that ring was destroyed last summer, around the time your hand became blackened and withered. We're not accusing you of anything, Headmaster. Whatever you did, you had reasons. But if the ring was destroyed, we'd like to know why. And if any fragment remains, it belongs to us by right of inheritance. Dumbledore is silent for a long moment. Then he sighs, looks older, suddenly. The ring contained a cursed object, dark magic of the vilest kind. I attempted to destroy it. I succeeded, but at cost. He holds up his blackened hand. The curse damaged me. I keep it contained, but it will likely kill me within the next year or two. Harry feels a pang of sympathy despite everything. I'm sorry. I made my choice. Dumbledore looks at them seriously. The ring's stone was special, one of the Deathly Hallows. The resurrection stone, it was destroyed along with the curse. A hallow destroyed, Hermione says softly. That must have been difficult. It was necessary. The object was corrupted beyond redemption. Harry nods slowly. Thank you for telling us. And for destroying it. If it was that dangerous, you probably saved lives. I hope so. They stand to leave. Harry tucks the cloak under his arm. At the door, Hermione pauses. Headmaster. One more question. Yes, the Philosopher's Stone. It's here in Hogwarts, isn't it? Hidden on the 3rd floor behind the locked door. Dumbledore's eyes widen fractionally. How do you know about the stone? We can sense powerful magic. The stone radiates ancient power, not dark, but strong. She meets his gaze. We're not going to steal it. We're not even going to approach it without permission. But we know it's there. And we're concerned about security. The stone is well protected by a 3-headed dog, a devil's snare, flying keys, a life-size chess set, a troll, and a logic puzzle. Harry lists. We've researched the protections. They're ingenious, but they're also navigable by a determined first year with the right skills. Dumbledore stares at them. How do you know the specific protections? The castle's wards are connected to the ley line, Hermione explains. We can sense magical structures built on that foundation. We can't see through walls, but we can feel the shape of major enchantments. Headmaster, we respect what you're trying to do, protecting the stone from those who would misuse it. But if a first year can deduce the protections, so can others. So can Voldemort's servants in Hogwarts. We believe Voldemort isn't truly dead, and we believe he would want the stone. Harry's scar tingles as he says it. We're not sure who might help him, but we're watching, and if we notice anything suspicious, we'll inform you immediately. You're remarkably perceptive for 11-year-olds. We're Lords Peverell, Harry says simply. Perceptiveness comes with the territory. They leave. Behind them, Dumbledore sits alone in his office. Fawkes trills softly. Indeed, Dumbledore murmurs. They are unlike any students I've ever taught. He looks at the empty space where the cloak had been. One hallow in Harry's possession, one hallow destroyed, one hallow waiting in Dumbledore's keeping, the Elder Wand, hidden as his personal wand, the three brothers' legacy, scattered across time, and two heirs who are rapidly becoming more than he anticipated. Peverell Quarters. Late evening. Harry spreads the invisibility cloak across the common room table. Hermione examines it closely. It's perfect, she breathes. No wear, no fading. Most invisibility cloaks deteriorate over time. But this one, it's a hallow, Harry says. The Cloak of Invisibility, one of 3 artifacts created by Death himself. Or so the legend says. The grimoire has a section on the hallows. I've been reading it. Hermione pulls out a notebook. The 3 brothers, Antioch, Cadmus, Ignotus, supposedly met Death on a bridge. Death offered each a gift. Antioch wanted the most powerful wand. Cadmus wanted a stone to recall the dead. Ignotus wanted a cloak to hide from death itself. And we're their heirs. Yes, you descend from Ignotus. I descend from Antioch or Cadmus. The grimoire isn't clear which. But the point is, the hallows are part of our heritage. Harry runs his hand over the cloak. Dumbledore destroyed the stone. He has the wand, I'm sure of it. That damaged hand came from the ring's curse, but he's hiding something else. The Elder Wand is too powerful to be sitting in some random wizard's possession. It's in Dumbledore's hands, so we have one hallow. He has one, and one is destroyed. For now. They sit in silence, contemplating the weight of what they've just reclaimed. We should practice with the cloak, Hermione says. Learn its capabilities, understand its limits. But carefully, Dumbledore is watching us, since the moment we claimed our inheritance. Harry nods. He's not our enemy, but he's not entirely on our side either. He has his own agenda. Then we proceed with caution. We learn, we grow stronger, and we prepare for whatever comes next. Harry looks at her, his partner, his balance, the mind to his heart. Together, he says. Together, she confirms. Summer 1993, between 2nd and 3rd year. Peverell Manor. The library. Harry sits at a massive oak desk covered in newspapers. Every daily prophet from the past 3 weeks. The headlines scream the same story. Mass murderer Sirius Black escapes Azkaban. Ministry in panic. Black still at large. Dementors deployed to Hogwarts for student safety. Hermione enters carrying a thick leather-bound volume. I found the trial records. Or rather, I found the absence of trial records. Harry looks up. Nothing. Nothing. Sirius Orion Black was arrested on November 1st, 1981. Imprisoned in Azkaban the same day. No trial. No formal charges presented to the Wizengamot. No legal defense. Nothing. That's illegal. Completely. Under the Wizengamot Charter of 1692, every wizard has the right to trial before imprisonment, even during wartime. Hermione sets the book down. Opens to a marked page. Article 12, Section 7. No wizard or witch shall be imprisoned without trial, save in cases of immediate danger to the public, and even then a trial must be held within 30 days of arrest. Sirius has been in Azkaban for 12 years without trial, which means his imprisonment is unlawful, regardless of his guilt or innocence. Hermione's eyes are bright with strategic thinking. We can challenge this. Harry leans back. You think he's innocent. I think the timing is suspicious. Your parents died. Peter Pettigrew died. Sirius was arrested, all within 24 hours. And according to these newspaper reports, the only witness was, she checks her notes, one Auror who arrived after the explosion. No investigation, no evidence presented. Just immediate imprisonment. Barty Crouch Sr. was head of magical law enforcement at the time, Harry says. He's been researching, too. He was known for sending people to Azkaban without trial during the war, using emergency powers that were supposed to expire when Voldemort fell. Hermione's fingers drum on the desk, but if no one challenged those imprisonments, they stayed imprisoned. Harry feels anger building. My godfather has been rotting in Azkaban for 12 years. Innocent or guilty, he deserves a trial. Agreed. Hermione pulls out fresh parchment. Begins writing. We'll file a writ of habeas corpus with the Wizengamot. a formal demand that Sirius Black be brought before the court to answer charges or be released. Can we do that? We're lords of the Wizengamot. We can propose any motion we want. She continues writing. The legal argument is airtight. Even if Sirius is guilty, he still has the right to trial. Denying that right is tyranny. Fudge will oppose this. He doesn't want to admit the ministry imprisoned someone illegally. Let him oppose. This isn't about politics, it's about law. Hermione finishes the writ, signs it, hands the quill to Harry. He signs, Lord Harry James Peverell. We'll present this at the next Wizengamot session, Hermione says, July 15th, 2 weeks from now. And if they vote it down, they won't. The law is too clear. And we have allies now. She counts on her fingers. Amelia Bones, head of magical law enforcement. She respects the law above politics. Augusta Longbottom, she lost her son to the war. She understands injustice. Several other lords who are tired of Fudge's corruption. Then the trial will prove it, and he'll return to Azkaban legally. Hermione meets Harry's eyes. But if he's innocent, we'll have freed a wrongly imprisoned man. Either way, justice is served. Harry nods slowly. My father's best friend. I never got to know him, never got to hear his side of the story. You will, in 2 weeks. July 15th, 1993. Ministry of Magic, Wizengamot Chamber. The chamber is circular, tiered seating rising on all sides. 50 seats for the lords and ladies of ancient houses. At the center, a raised platform for the accused. Harry and Hermione sit in the Peverell seats, prime position, second row. They've attended every session since reclaiming their house. Built relationships. Learned the political landscape. Minister Cornelius Fudge presides from the high seat. Purple robes, lime green bowler hat, nervous expression. The Wizengamot is now in session, Fudge announces. First order of business, point of order, Minister. Hermione stands, voice clear and strong. Lord Peverell and I wish to introduce a motion before regular business. Fudge's face tightens. The Peverells have been thorns in his side for 2 years. Always citing obscure laws, always challenging his authority. Very well, Lady Peverell. State your motion, quote, we move for a writ of habeas corpus for Sirius Orion Black, currently imprisoned in Azkaban. We demand he be brought before this body to face formal charges or be released immediately. The chamber erupts, voices shouting. Some in outrage, some in shock. Black is a mass murderer, someone yells. He killed 13 people, another voice. Fudge bangs his gavel. Order! Order! The chamber quiets. Lady Peverell Sirius Black was convicted. He was never tried, Harry interrupts, standing beside Hermione. We've reviewed the records. Sirius Black was arrested on November 1st, 1981, and imprisoned the same day. No trial, no formal charges, no legal representation. He was a Death Eater, Fudge sputters. He betrayed the Potters to you-know-who. Then prove it in court, Hermione says coldly. Article 12, Section 7 of the Wizengamot Charter guarantees trial rights to all magical citizens, even accused Death Eaters, even during war. Barty Crouch Sr. may have suspended those rights under emergency powers, but those powers expired when Voldemort fell. Sirius Black has been unlawfully imprisoned for 12 years, Harry adds. Guilty or innocent, he deserves his day in court. Amelia Bones stands. The head of magical law enforcement cuts an imposing figure in dark red robes, monocle gleaming. The Peverells are correct, Bones states. I've reviewed the case files personally. There is no record of a trial. This is a violation of basic legal rights. I support the motion, Bones continues. Bring Sirius Black before this chamber. Let him face his accusers. Let evidence be presented. Let justice be done properly. Augusta Longbottom stands next. The formidable matriarch of House Longbottom. Vulture-topped hat and all. I lost my son and daughter-in-law to Death Eaters, she says, voice hard. They're in St. Mungo's, destroyed by the Lestranges. I want every Death Eater punished. But I want it done legally. If we abandon the law, we're no better than them. She looks at Fudge. I support the motion. Fudge realizes he's losing. Very well. A vote, all in favor of issuing a writ of habeas corpus for Sirius Black? Hands raised throughout the chamber. Opposed? Fewer hands. The pureblood faction, Malfoy and his allies. But not enough. The motion passes 27 votes to 19. Fudge looks distinctly unhappy. Sirius Black will be brought from Azkaban to stand trial 2 weeks hence, July 29th. Harry and Hermione sit down. First victory achieved. But now comes the harder part, proving Sirius's innocence. July 20th, 1993. Peverell Manor. Harry and Hermione sit across from Remus Lupin in the library. The werewolf looks gaunt, shabby robes, but his eyes are sharp. "You're really doing this," Remus says quietly, demanding a trial for Sirius. "We are," Harry confirms. "But we need information. You were friends. You were in the Order together. What can you tell us?" "I believed he was guilty for 12 years. James and Lily made him secret keeper. Then they died. The only explanation was betrayal." "But," Hermione prompts, "but Sirius loved James like a brother. He would have died for him. For you, Harry, when you were born, Sirius was so happy. He held you and swore he'd protect you no matter what." Remus's voice breaks. "I can't reconcile that man with someone who'd betray James to Voldemort." "Who else knew about the secret keeper?" Harry asks. "Only the inner circle. Dumbledore, me, Sirius, Peter Pettigrew." Remus pauses. "Peter died trying to catch Sirius. He was a hero." "Was he?" Hermione asks. "What do you remember about Peter?" "He was the weakest of us, magically, academically, but loyal. He followed James and Sirius everywhere, worshipped them, really. He'd do anything to stay in favor." Hermione and Harry exchange glances. The profile fits. "Professor Lupin," Hermione says carefully. "What if Peter wasn't as loyal as everyone thought? What if he was the one who betrayed the Potters?" Remus's face goes pale. "That's Peter is dead. He died confronting Sirius." "Did anyone recover his body?" Harry asks. "No, just a finger. The explosion was massive. Everything else was vaporized." "Convenient," Hermione murmurs. "One finger remaining. Just enough to identify him, but no body to verify. You think Peter faked his death?" Remus sounds shaken. "We think it's possible," Harry says, "and we're going to find out." July 25th, 1993. 4 days before the trial. Hermione sits in the Peverell Library surrounded by books on animagus transformations. She's been researching for 3 days straight. Harry enters. "Any progress?" "Possibly. The Ministry keeps a registry of all registered animagi. There are only 7 in Britain currently." She shows him the list. "But the registry only includes wizards who registered legally. Unregistered animagia are criminals." "James Potter was an unregistered animagus," Harry says. He learned this from Remus. "A stag. Sirius was a dog. Peter was a rat." Hermione's eyes gleam. "What if Peter survived by transforming? Rats are small, easy to overlook, could hide anywhere. If the alternative was facing justice for betraying the Potters." She pulls out another book. "And rats can bond with wizarding families. Become pets, no one would question a rat in a wizarding household." Harry sees where she's going. "We need to search for Peter Pettigrew in rat form. Specifically, we need to search the homes of Order members, people he would have known, trusted families." Hermione creates a list. The Weasleys, the Longbottoms, the Diggorys. "The Weasleys have a family rat," Harry says suddenly. "Ron mentioned it, Scabbers. He's had it for years. Got it from his brother Percy." "How many years?" Harry thinks back to conversations at Hogwarts. "Percy had him for a while before Ron. Maybe 12 years total?" Hermione's breath catches. "We need to see that rat." The Burrow. That evening, Molly Weasley welcomes them warmly. "Lord and Lady Peverell, what a lovely surprise. Please, come in, come in." "Arthur is at work," Mrs. Weasley, Hermione says. "This may sound strange, but could we see Ron's rat, Scabbers?" Molly blinks. "His rat? Whatever for?" "We're researching animagus transformations for a school project," Harry lies smoothly. "We're looking at how wizards might disguise themselves as common animals. We'd like to examine a typical pet rat for comparison." It's weak, but Molly doesn't question it. "Of course, dear. Ron, bring Scabbers down." Ron appears with a balding, mangy rat in his hands. The creature looks old, missing a toe on one front paw. Hermione's eyes lock on the missing toe. Harry sees it too. Peter Pettigrew died leaving behind only a finger. One finger. "May I?" Hermione asks, reaching for the rat. Ron hands Scabbers over. "He's pretty useless, honestly. Sleeps all day." The The moment Hermione touches the rat, it squirms, tries to escape. She holds firm. "Interesting," she murmurs. "He's very agitated." She pulls out her wand, points it at the rat, speaks clearly, "Reveal your true form, Revelio Animagus." The rat explodes in size. Ron yelps. Molly screams. Where the rat was, a man now crouches on the floor, balding, watery eyes, missing the same finger the rat was missing. Peter Pettigrew, alive. Harry's wand is out instantly. "Don't move." Peter's eyes dart around the room looking for escape. "Please, I can explain. You're dead," Ron breathes. "You died 12 years ago. I had to hide. Sirius was going to kill me. He's the real traitor." Peter's voice is high-pitched. Panicked. "Liar," Hermione says coldly. "We're taking you to the ministry. You're going to testify under veritaserum." "No. Please, you don't understand." Peter tries to transform again. Harry hits him with a stunning spell. Peter collapses. Molly Weasley stares at the unconscious man on her kitchen floor. That's been living in my house, near my children? For years." "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Weasley," Harry says. "But this proves Sirius Black's innocence. Peter was the real secret keeper." "The real traitor?" asks Ron. Looks sick. "I had a Death Eater as a pet." "You didn't know," Hermione says gently. "No one did. That's why he survived." They bind Peter with magical ropes, contact the ministry. Aurors arrive within minutes. Amelia Bones herself takes custody. This changes everything. If Pettigrew is alive, if he can testify, we'll bring him to the trial, Harry says. Let him tell the truth, finally. July 29th, 1993. The trial. The Wizengamot chamber is packed, every seat filled, the gallery overflowing with spectators and press. This is the trial of the decade. Sirius Black is brought in by Aurors. He looks terrible. 12 years in Azkaban have destroyed him. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, hair matted, robes and rags, but when he sees Harry in the Peverell seat, something flickers in his eyes. Recognition, hope. Fudge presides. Sirius Orion Black, you stand accused of betraying James and Lily Potter to he who must not be named, of murdering Peter Pettigrew and 12 muggles, of serving as a Death Eater. How do you plead? Sirius's voice is hoarse from disuse. Not guilty. The chamber erupts in whispers. The prosecution may present evidence, Fudge announces, but there is no prosecutor. No one prepared for this trial, because no one expected it to happen. Amelia Bones stands. Minister, there is no evidence to present. There was no investigation in 1981. No formal charges were filed. Sirius Black was imprisoned based solely on circumstantial evidence and one witness statement. He was at the scene, someone shouts from the gallery. Being at a scene is not proof of guilt, Bones counters. We need actual evidence, testimony, facts. Harry stands. We have new evidence, evidence that proves Sirius Black's innocence. What evidence? We call Peter Pettigrew to testify. The chamber explodes. Pettigrew is dead. This is a mockery. Lord Peverell, Peter Pettigrew died in 1981. The doors to the chamber open. Aurors enter. Between them, bound and gagged, Peter Pettigrew. Alive. The chamber falls into shocked silence. Peter Pettigrew, Harry announces, was found alive 5 days ago, living in hiding as a rat. He is an unregistered animagus who faked his death to escape justice. His face transforms from shock to rage. You traitorous piece of... Aurors restrain him. Peter is brought to the witness stand. The gag removed. Magical restraints prevent him from transforming. Amelia Bones administers 3 drops of veritaserum personally, waits for it to take effect. Then begins the questioning. State your name. Peter Pettigrew. His voice is flat. The potion compels truth. Are you the wizard who was reported dead in 1981? Yes. Did you fake your death? Yes. Why? To escape. Sirius knew I was the traitor. I had to hide. Who was the secret keeper for James and Lily Potter? Bones asks. I was. Gasps throughout the chamber. Did you betray their location to Voldemort? Why did you betray them? Voldemort was winning. He promised power. Protection. I was weak. I was afraid. I chose the winning side. Did Sirius Black betray the Potters? No. I killed the Muggles. I cut off my own finger. I transformed and escaped through the sewers. The testimony continues. every detail extracted, every lie exposed. When it's done, Peter Pettigrew has confessed to everything: treason, murder, faking his death, framing Sirius. Fudge looks like he wants to disappear. The Wizengamot will vote on the verdict for Sirius Black, all in favor of declaring him innocent of all charges. Even Malfoy's faction can't deny the evidence. Unanimous. Sirius Black is hereby exonerated of all charges, all criminal records expunged. The Ministry will provide compensation for wrongful imprisonment at the standard rate of 1,000 galleons per year. 12,000 galleons total. It's inadequate. 12 years of torture for 12,000 galleons. But Sirius is free. The Aurors remove his chains. He staggers, nearly falls. Harry is there instantly, catches him, supports him. "I've got you," Harry says quietly. "You're safe now." Sirius looks at him, really looks, sees James in his face. Lily's eyes. "Harry," he breathes, "you saved me. You actually saved me. Your family. You're my godfather. Of course I saved you." Sirius breaks down, 12 years of pain pouring out. Harry holds him, lets him cry. Hermione stands beside them. Peter Pettigrew will face trial for his crimes. He'll be sentenced to Azkaban. Justice is done. The trial concludes. Peter is dragged away to a holding cell. His trial is scheduled for next week. The verdict is certain. Sirius is taken to St. Mungo's. He needs healing, food, time to recover. But he's alive. He's free. He's vindicated. Harry and Hermione visit him 3 days later. He's in a private room, clean, fed, looking slightly more human. "Lord and Lady Peverell," Sirius says with a weak smile. "That's what they're calling you. That's what we are," Harry says. "It's a long story. I have time." Sirius gestures to the hospital bed. Not going anywhere. They tell him everything. Gringotts, the Keystone, the Peverell inheritance, the past 2 years at Hogwarts, the Horcrux hunt. Sirius listens, amazed, proud. "James would be so proud of you," he says finally. "Not just for saving me, for everything you've become, both of you." "We need allies," Hermione says. "People we can trust. The war isn't over. Voldemort still has Horcruxes hidden. We've destroyed 3. But more remain." "Then I'm with you," Sirius says immediately. "Whatever you need, I'm yours." "You need to reclaim your house first," Harry says. "The ancient and noble House of Black. You're the last heir. Claim it. Take your Wizengamot seat. Stand with us." Sirius nods slowly. "All right, I'll do it. For James. For Lily. For you. And for yourself," Hermione adds. "You deserve justice. You deserve a life. Don't waste it." Sirius smiles. "It's broken, damaged, but genuine. Thank you, both of you, for believing in me when no one else did." "Always," Harry says. August 1993. Peverell Manor. Sirius moves into the guest wing. Grimmauld Place is too dark for him. Too many memories. He needs light, safety, family. The Peverell Manor provides. He recovers slowly, gains weight, color returns to his face, the haunted look in his eyes begins to fade. He watches Harry and Hermione train. Amazed at their power, their control, true intent magic flowing naturally. One evening he finds Harry in the library. "Can I ask you something?" Sirius says. "Of course." "Why did you do it? Fight for my trial?" "You didn't know me. For all you knew, I was guilty." Harry sets down the book he's reading. "Because you deserved a trial. Guilty or innocent, every wizard deserves that. And," he pauses, "because you're my godfather. My father trusted you with his life. That means something. I failed him. No, Peter failed him. You went to Azkaban for 12 years rather than betray him. That's the opposite of failure." Sirius's eyes water. "I wish I could have been there for you. Raised you. Given you the life James and Lily wanted. You're here now. That's what matters. What do you need from me? How can I help?" Harry considers. "We need to destroy the remaining Horcruxes. We know about 4 more. Slytherin's locket, Ravenclaw's diadem, Hufflepuff's cup, and Voldemort's snake, Nagini. Horcruxes," Sirius says darkly. "Soul magic. Darkest of the dark. We have a way to destroy them. Basilisk venom. We claimed Slytherin's basilisk last year. It's under our command now." "You claimed a basilisk?" Sirius laughs. Actual laughter. "Of course you did. You're Peverells, masters of death. We need to find the locket and the cup, Hermione says, entering the library. The locket was in a cave. We've located it through research. The cup is in Gringotts, in the Lestrange vault. Bellatrix Lestrange, Sirius growls. My cousin, the one who tortured Frank and Alice Longbottom. We're going to retrieve that cup, Harry says. Legally, through the Wizengamot. We'll claim war reparations. And I'll help, Sirius says. Whatever you need, research, strategy, fighting. I'm yours. Harry smiles. Welcome to the team, Padfoot. December 1993. Fourth year begins. Harry and Hermione are now 13 years old, third-year students at Hogwarts, but also lords of the Wizengamot, hunters of Horcruxes, leaders in a war most people don't know is still happening. The past year has been productive. Slytherin's locket retrieved from the cave and destroyed. Ravenclaw's diadem found in the Room of Requirement and destroyed. 5 Horcruxes down. 2 remaining, the cup and Nagini. But the cup is the problem. It's in Gringotts, in the Lestrange vaults in the bank. We can't just break in, Hermione says. They're in the Peverell Library planning. That would violate Goblin law, start a war, destroy our alliance with Gringotts. So we go legal, Sirius says. He's looking healthier now. Color in his face, strength in his voice. Use the Wizengamot. How, Harry asks. War reparations, Hermione says. She's already thought this through. The Lestranges were Death Eaters, convicted, imprisoned. Their vault contains items stolen during the First Wizarding War. Sirius adds, killed by Voldemort. Harry has standing to claim restitution. We file a motion, Hermione continues, requesting access to the Lestrange vault to recover stolen property. We present evidence that the cup is cursed with dark magic. We offer the goblins a deal. We remove the cursed object, they keep the gold. It has to, Hermione says. The alternative is leaving a Horcrux in the most secure bank in Britain. December 15th, 1993. Wizengamot session. Harry stands before the assembled lords. We move for a writ of asset recovery against the Lestrange vault in Gringotts. Specifically, we seek to recover items stolen from victims of the First Wizarding War. On the grounds that my parents, James and Lily Potter, were murdered by Voldemort and his Death Eaters, the Lestranges served Voldemort. Their vault likely contains items taken from murdered families. As their heir, I have the right to reclaim stolen property. That's a serious accusation, Fudge says nervously. The Lestranges are in Azkaban, but their vault is sealed, which is precisely the problem, Hermione interrupts. Sealed vaults can hide evidence, dark artifacts, cursed objects. The Ministry should investigate. Amelia Bones stands. Lady Peverell is correct. We've never investigated the Death Eater vaults. We should have. I support the motion. The vote passes. 23 in favor. 15 opposed. Harry and Hermione are granted access to the Lestrange vault under Ministry supervision. December 20th, 1993. Gringotts. Ragnarok meets them personally. Lord and Lady Peverell, the Wizengamot has granted you access. But understand, Harry says, we're looking for a specific item, Hufflepuff's cup. We believe it's cursed with dark magic, a Horcrux. Ragnarok's eyes narrow. You've been destroying Horcruxes. You know what they are? Goblins know many things wizards have forgotten. Soul magic. Abominations. If there's a Horcrux in our bank, he looks genuinely disturbed. We cannot allow such corruption. Let us remove it, Hermione says. We have the means to destroy it safely. You keep the rest of the vault's contents. Everyone wins. Ragnarok considers. Then nods. Agreed, but goblin guards accompany you. We witness the destruction. Ensure it's done properly. They descend. Deep into Gringotts, past the normal vaults, past the high-security vaults, into the oldest, deepest sections. The Lestrange vault is behind waterfalls and additional protections. Thief's Downfall, Gemino Curse, Flagrante Curse. But with goblin cooperation, they bypass everything safely. The vault opens. Inside, mountains of gold, artifacts, treasures, and sitting on a high shelf, a small golden cup with a badger engraved on the side. Hufflepuff's cup. The moment Harry sees it, his soul sense screams. The wrongness, the broken soul inside. That's it, he says. Hermione pulls out a vial, basilisk venom, carefully preserved from the chamber. May we, she asks Ragnarok, destroy it. Away from the gold, Hermione uncorks the vial, pours venom over the cup. The reaction is immediate. The cup shrieks. Black smoke pours from it. The soul fragment inside writhes, screams, fights. But basilisk venom destroys Horcruxes. It's one of the few substances that can. The cup melts, the gold bubbling and reforming into slag. The soul fragment dissolves, gone. The goblin guards witness it all, faces grim. That was in our bank, Ragnok says quietly. For over a decade, corrupting, festering. It's gone now, Harry says. Destroyed. You're free of it. Ragnok bows. Deeply. The Goblin Nation owes you a debt, Lord Peverell. You've cleansed corruption from our halls. No debt, Harry says. We're allies. That's enough. They leave the vault. The cup destroyed. 6 Horcruxes down. 1 remains. Nagini. Voldemort's snake. June 1995. 4th year. The Triwizard Tournament. The tournament has proceeded as in canon. 3 schools, 3 champions. Dangerous tasks. But Harry is not a champion. The Goblet of Fire didn't select him. He's Lord Peverell. Outside the student body, ineligible. Instead, he and Hermione watch. Prepare. Wait. Because they know Voldemort is planning something. They can feel it. The dark magic building. The final Horcrux Nagini moving closer to Britain. The 3rd task arrives. The maze. The champions enter. The crowd watches. Harry and Hermione sit in the stands. But they're not watching the maze. They're watching the wards around Hogwarts. Something's wrong, Hermione murmurs. The wards are fluctuating. The ley line beneath Hogwarts pulses irregularly. There's a portkey. In the maze, unauthorized. We need to follow it. They move quickly, down from the stands, into the shadows. Harry pulls out the invisibility cloak. The true hallow, reclaimed from Dumbledore years ago. They wrap themselves in it. The maze exits. A scream. A flash of light. The portkey activates. They see it. 2 figures grabbed and yanked away. Harry and Hermione grab the edge of the portkey effect. Pull themselves along. Little Hangleton. The graveyard. They land hard. Roll. Stay hidden under the cloak. Cedric Diggory and Fleur Delacour are here. Bound by dark magic. Confused. Terrified. And in the center of the graveyard, a cauldron. Boiling. Filled with a potion. Wormtail. Peter Pettigrew, escaped from ministry custody, performing a ritual. Bone of the father, unknowingly given. Flesh of the servant, willingly sacrificed. Peter cuts off his hand, screams, drops it into the cauldron. Blood of the enemy forcibly taken. He approaches Cedric, cuts his arm, blood drips into the potion. The cauldron explodes with light. A figure rises from the potion, pale, snake-like, red eyes, noseless. Lord Voldemort. Reborn, he stands, naked. Then Wormtail provides robes. A wand, the wand Harry recognizes as his original U-wand, recovered somehow. I am returned, Voldemort hisses, stronger than before. Immortal, Harry and Hermione exchange glances under the cloak. They know better. 6 Horcruxes destroyed. Only Nagini remains. Voldemort is mortal now. He just doesn't know it. Nagini slithers from the shadows, coils around Voldemort protectively. The last Horcrux. Kill the spare, Voldemort orders. Peter raises his wand towards Cedric. Harry throws off the cloak. Expelliarmus, all my enemies in one place. We're not your enemies, Harry says calmly. We're your end. Voldemort laughs. Bold words from children. I am Lord Voldemort. I am immortal. I have conquered death itself. No, Hermione says. You fragmented yourself. Diminished yourself. We've been destroying your Horcruxes for 3 years. The diary, the ring, the diadem, the locket, the cup, Harry's scar. Impossible. You couldn't possibly. We're Peverells, Harry says. Masters of death, hunting your soul fragments is what we do. He raises his wand, points it at Nagini. Voldemort moves to block, but Hermione is faster. Incarcerus, ropes wrap around Voldemort, binding him. Harry strikes. Sectum Sempra. The curse hits Nagini, cuts deep. The snake writhes, screams. Hermione follows up. Basilisk venom poured directly on the wound. Nagini shrieks. The soul fragment inside burns, dissolves. The snake thrashes once more, then goes still. Dead. All 7 Horcruxes destroyed. Voldemort feels it. The final anchor severing, his face contorts with rage and fear. What have you done? Made you mortal, Harry says. He raises his right hand. The Peverell ring glows. Summons the Elder Wand from the expanded pocket in his robes. Taken from Dumbledore's tomb months ago, with permission. The headmaster died peacefully, and willed the wand to Harry knowing he was the true master of death. The resurrection stone sits in his pocket. The cloak is at his feet, all three deathly hallows, united, in the hands of the true master. Harry doesn't feel godlike. He feels tired, but determined. Tom Riddle, he says, using Voldemort's birth name. You sought to conquer death, but death cannot be conquered, only accepted. I will kill you, Voldemort screams, breaks free of the ropes through sheer magical power, raises his wand, Avada Kedavra. Harry channels all three hallows, the authority of death itself. Finite, the killing curse stops, mid-flight, hangs in the air, then reverses. Voldemort's eyes widen. The curse hits him. He dies as he lived, alone, afraid. Mortal Lord Voldemort falls. Dead, truly, finally, permanently dead. The graveyard is silent. Harry lowers his wand. The Hallows' power fades. He's just a boy again. 13 years old. Exhausted. Hermione is beside him instantly. Are you all right? It's over. Finally over. They free Cedric and Fleur, explain quickly, send them back to Hogwarts via portkey. Then they examine Voldemort's body. We should bring him to the Ministry, Hermione says. Proof. Evidence. Closure. Agreed. They portkey to the Ministry, appear in the atrium with Voldemort's corpse. Chaos. Aurors summoned. Fudge arrived. Press flooding in. Harry makes a statement. Lord Voldemort attempted to return tonight. He kidnapped students, performed a dark ritual. We stopped him. He's dead. The war is over. The boy who lived, standing over Voldemort's body, victorious. The Daily Prophet's headline the next morning, he's gone, Lord Voldemort defeated Peverell heirs, and the Dark Lord's reign. The wizarding world erupts in celebration. Parties in every magical community, families reunited, Death Eaters surrendering en masse. But Harry and Hermione don't celebrate publicly. They return to Peverell Manor, to Sirius, to quiet. You did it, Sirius says, tears in his eyes. You actually did it, ended him, saved everyone. We did what we had to, Harry says, what Merlin would have wanted. Used power responsibly, defended the innocent, stopped tyranny. What now? Sirius asks. Now we rebuild, Hermione says. The war is over, but there's still work to do. Reforming the Ministry, helping people heal, creating something better. Harry nods. The fight isn't over. It's just changing. 10 years later, the Ministry of Magic, Wizengamot Chamber. Harry Potter stands before the assembled lords, 23 years old, still wearing the Peverell ring, older, wiser, confident. I propose the Magical Integration Act, he announces. A gradual, careful process of integrating magical and muggle societies, not revealing everything at once, but beginning dialogue, cooperation, mutual benefit. The chamber debates, some support, some oppose, but the vote passes, 29 in favor, 16 opposed. Change is coming. Hermione Granger's office, Department of Magical Law, she's the department head now, the youngest ever, appointed after 5 years of proving herself indispensable. She's drafting legislation, abolishing blood supremacy laws, establishing Muggle-born scholarship programs, reforming Azkaban. The work is endless, but necessary. She married Victor Crumb 3 years ago. Love grew from mutual respect, shared dedication to excellence. They have a daughter, Rose, 2 years old, brilliant already. Hogwarts, headmaster's office. Dumbledore passed peacefully 5 years ago. His portrait hangs on the wall, watching with approval. Minerva McGonagall serves as headmistress now. The school flourishes under her leadership. But the Peverell influence is everywhere. The curriculum updated. Blood prejudice eliminated. Muggle-born students welcomed equally. Harry teaches defense against the dark arts as a guest lecturer. Once a month, sharing knowledge. Inspiring students. Peverell Manor. Harry, Hermione, Sirius, Victor, and little Rose gather around the table. Did you know, Rose says in her 2-year-old wisdom, that Uncle Harry defeated the Dark Lord when he was only 13? I did know that, Victor says with a smile. Your Uncle Harry is a hero. He's just Harry, Harry corrects. I did what anyone would have done. Not anyone, Sirius says. You did what a Peverell would do, what a master of death would do. You faced evil and won through wisdom, not just power. To the Peverells, who changed the world. They drink. Family, friends, survivors. 20 years later, platform 9 3/4. Harry stands with his wife Luna Lovegood. They married 7 years ago. She saw him not as Lord Peverell, but as Harry. Just Harry. He needed that. Their children, James and Albus, board the Hogwarts Express, both excited, both nervous. Hermione stands nearby with Victor and their children, Rose and Hugo. Rose is starting her 4th year, Hugo his 2nd. Ready? Hermione asks Harry. Always. They watch it disappear. Another generation, Hermione says softly, carrying on. Building on what we started, Harry adds. Making it better. 2 friends who became partners, who saved the world together, who continue serving it still. The age of the Masters of Death isn't over. It's evolving, new challenges, new threats, but also new hope, because they prove that power can be wielded justly, that knowledge can be shared freely, that death can be accepted without fear. They are Peverells, they are the balance, and their work continues. Let us know what you'd like to see next. The end.